Earlier today, really want to talk about the gig economy, especially when it comes to working a lot. There's nothing wrong with it. I used to do that a long, like for 3 years as a DoorDasher. Really loved it. Love the people. Love that. The reason why I'm talking about it today because it's actually very dangerous. You're putting your car at risk. You're putting your life at risk, and you don't know what the person's intention is. For instance, obviously, I survived a car accident 5 days ago, and I'm very grateful that I walk out. Anywho, let me go back to what I was saying. In the situation, the fact that when you do deliver all this stuff, you are putting yourself at risk. There was an instant, I forget where at, where a woman who got deleted by a individual who pull out a instrument, let's say, and and all because of for no reason, no reason at all. I mean, you heard of the fact that everywhere you go, it's getting too dangerous, especially when it comes to delivering people's food. I always worry about this with my father, but my father's 51. He doesn't really care. He's like a tough Hispano, you know. I mean, I always worry about that in the back of my head. But the thing is, now these days, it's getting to a point where everything is getting dangerous. Like, all right. But the thing is like, well, anywho, um, the problem is that it's getting to a point where people who are willing to pay you $1 to pick up the food and you drive 20 minutes away. That's a telltale sign we're living in a broken system, in a broken market. People need jobs left and right. And my friend, who's a little older dude, I like him a lot because in my culture we respect older people. It's actually kind of normal. Most people think it's weird today. But it's for the point of fact, he was giving me advice on some stuff, such as get a 401k, be loyal to a company. And honestly, today, where things are heading, I don't think you should be loyal to anyone, especially when it comes to, what was it, working in a corporation. Now, however, there's things that you need to do and know to focus on the fact that we are, it's getting to a point where it's getting dangerous, it's getting hard, and people are desperate. For instance, there are people, including myself, who experience this, who drive or pick up their food and drive and then never call back. They don't call back, or you have clients who can't speak English. There are orders I witness that people who that pick up I can't pronounce. And every time I try to call them, they don't speak English at all. And this is a big, huge detrimental problem, in my opinion. I'm a firm believer if you come to a country, you have to speak the people's language because it tells that you are serious about the culture that you live in. However, there are, we're living in a time where even younger people need to compete over AI, robots, and what is it for like foreigners, H-1B foreigners. And some of these people are living scotch free through our money, our working money, and something I really, really do not appreciate. The interesting part about what we're dealing today, now we're focusing on the gig. People are not paying enough money. People are losing a lot of money just by doing DoorDash. And how many times I have to tell a lot of people that you have to learn how to maintenance your car. The corporation will not give you anything, especially through DoorDash or Uber. The funny fact is that people rely on saying like this is actually a full-time job, you're making a lot of money. In actuality, you're not. You're just putting yourself at risk and your car at risk. And I'm hearing things like people are using buy now, pay later through DoorDash. That's not right, in my opinion. And something that most people don't know is the fact that there are people who are willing to buy wings for about three about $30 an hour. Well, not $30, my bad. I lost my train of thought. $30 for wings from Wingstop, but they allow to pay it later, and you could see it through the receipt. You could tell, and it's really really interesting. My experience is the fact that now the gig economy is getting to a point where people can't afford anything. I quit the gig economy because I'm sick and tired of putting myself at risk and my car at risk. And now I have to pay the price, unfortunately. But the thing is, now everybody has to in order to make make a substantial living, and people can't even survive from that. So we're living in a day and age where people need to actually find other ways to make work, and everybody, especially the older generation, my bad, keep telling the younger generation saying you have to work hard, you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's actually a lose-lose situation because you have I meet a lot of younger guys who are in their 22s and they're very, very intelligent. They know what they're doing. They have some skills. So I met one who actually owned his own business, and it's very, very inspiring. Now, this video is not all about me and my situation. This is all about what I experienced through working in the gig. However, through the gigging economy, based on my experience, people can't afford it. People are willing to spend thousands of dollars over some other guy who lives right next to you, who could pick up your food and deliver it to you. And it just tells you that how lazy people are in this country, especially in America. Because the funny thing is the fact that we rely on everybody to pick up the bare minimum and expect us to actually pay for everything. It's really, really interesting and fascinating scenario, especially when it comes to letting people pick up your food. But back to what I'm trying to say is to stay on topic. The funny thing is the fact that we're getting to a point where everything, especially when it comes to the gig economy, we're expecting people to pick up everything. And sooner or later, we are not going to have a job. It's going to be automated by AI. Robots going to take over. And not just that, how are you going to get an intro job? A matter of fact, there's already a lot of foreigners who are doing these jobs because they think it's easy money and they come from a country that doesn't have options. And I am not complaining about these people. There's nothing wrong coming to the country, but however, I have a problem with people not simulating, not valuing, not respecting my family's legacy. For instance, my parents are actually actual Americans, and my father is a Hispanic. He has to work really 10 times harder to actually be part of that family. And there are people today who expect to have everything in return, especially with the Somalians and with the Arabic country people and the Indians. I'm a firm believer they're taking over the jobs of the gig economy. And you got to ask yourself the real good question: what's the end goal for us as Americans or natives of this country? And the real answer is the fact that there is none. So, what do we do in this situation? Well, I don't have a particular answer, but the one thing is, I think the best option is to actually figure out a way to make money in the internet. Because now these days, it's getting to a point where it's being impossible. I mean, through my experience, it's being impossible. I'm a hard worker, yes, but I also value education. and I want to always have a better education through my future with my children in the future. But the thing is, now these days, everything is getting harder and harder. Sooner or later, the degrees that you have are nothing. Like, it means nothing. You will own nothing and be happy. It's really, really ironic. And it's something that I'm just very concerned about us, especially our society. However, the thing is that the gig economy is a good way to get started, but today, back in 2020 during the COVID epidemic, but now, no, no. It's getting too impossible. People don't know how to fluctuate our times, and honestly, I'm getting tired of working hard. I know for a fact that the 401k system that people actually believe, especially the old generation, think that they're going to be a 401k. I was talking to a older gentleman, my bad, who've been working at the area that I used to work a long time ago. For 36 years, and he got $600,000 in 401k, and he's happy about it. And I know him. Me and him are friends. He trained me in a lot of the areas, and I asked him, "So what are you gonna do after this?" He's like, "Do nothing, and then what?" And he doesn't really know after that. But people are a little bit out of the world today. Kids now these days can make that. It's not enough. People could easily make $600,000 if you do Twitch stream. It's a proven fact. It just blows my mind that there's people who spent 36 years in their life, and next thing you know it, they the $600,000 is actually nothing. It just tells me that the value of the dollar is going down, and we don't have enough more jobs, especially when it comes to the gig economy. Now, I have experienced people who treat me terrible when I deliver people's food, especially when it comes to that. And for instance, let me give you an example. There was one incident where there was a customer of mine order a food. I didn't read it because when you do it so many times, your brain just blank. So I pick up the food, it has the person's name, and I took a picture, send it to them, and da 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 da. And then after that, I drop it over there, and give it back to them, and put it in the front door. Go back to my merry ways, focus on my next order. She called me back and said, "This is not the order I order. This is not the order that I order. I need to talk to somebody." And I tell her very politely, "You need to talk to the people, tell them every story, because I seen that. It could be possibly my fault, but I'm human. But this person was being very rude to me and not being appreciative, and calling me a lazy individual, so to speak. It's just not kind words, there we go. But I just look at it as like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I make mistakes, but there are certain types of entitlement. Oh, and another thing is, I was talking to a girl who was desperate for $100, and at the time I was doing DoorDash, and I asked her, "Do you have a car?" And she's desperate for $100. She needs money. And I was like, "Do you have a car?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You have 2 hours, you could still make good, decent money." And this is 3 years ago, remind you. And she got super entitled and say, "I'm better than that. I'd rather work at my office job." And it blew my mind. I just don't get it, you know. I don't complain about anything. I just try to focusing on doing what I'm supposed to do. And I went out of my means and above and beyond becoming a hardworking individual when it comes to that gig. But however, I'm starting to see a trend. A lot of people can't make enough money. I mean, I'm okay. I didn't The reason why I quit is because of my safety. Everything's getting dangerous now. Like the other day when I was delivering food, there was a individual who looked at me and side-eyed me, and I think he wants to kill him. I mean, hurt me. There we go. He wants to hurt me. And the funny thing is now is that the people don't realize that it's just a dangerous work. I try to be very positive, especially when it comes to this situation. But the gig, in my opinion, is just a waste of time. I think people need to find a better job. I'd rather work at McDonald's than doing DoorDash because it's just such a burden. Such a burden, especially right now. But in the future, I mean, we're experiencing the highest job layoffs in America history, and it just tells me the fact that what we're going to do if we don't have once AI gets really good, what we're going to do after that, how we're going to rely. That's the $1,000,000 question that a lot of people are talking, because our identity as an American society, we view work as our identity, and we need to actually come to terms, and we cannot let that identify us. I think it's important to actually live in a world that we do our jobs in the internet, create a community, work for each other, and learn new things, possibly skills that not a lot of people want to do. But there you have it. That's my opinion what's going on with the gig economy. I think it's important for everybody to focusing on working at McDonald's than working at the DoorDash or Uber. It's just too risky, too dangerous, and plus it's a high maintenance to your car. But if you really like this video, please, I encourage you to think about, see my videos are okay, or I need to work on my speaking. I'm still learning some new skills. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye.